So are you ready to skyrocket your Google rankings in just 60 seconds? Well, today I'm sharing quick, powerful SEO techniques you can implement in less time than it takes to brew a cup of coffee. These are strategies anyone can use, whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just starting out. So let's start with number one, which is delete pages with poor SEO performance. So to identify pages with poor SEO performance, especially when you're working with the website where you don't have access to Google Analytics and Google Search Console, you're gonna have to kind of use a workaround here. So go to the API and you're going to go to the Ahrefs API and you're going to select a few different settings. So click on metrics and then go down here and we can go ahead and just exit out of all of this. And then we're just going to pick referring domains. We're going to go down, we're going to pick keywords, and we're going to pick traffic. So this is going to give us a rough estimate of these metrics on a per URL basis. All right, so go ahead and paste the full report inside of a Google Sheet. And then we're going to go ahead and add a filter to this top row. And then also I would recommend freezing the top row just so it's easier to organize. Now, next thing I'm going to do is go to content type and we're going to sort this, clear all these out. We're just going to look at HTML, text HTML, and then we're also going to go to the indexability column and we're only going to look at indexable content. Okay, so now we're going to scroll all the way over and we're going to look for the Ahrefs section. So right here we have referring domains, keywords, and traffic. So what we want to do is we actually want to clear all this out and only look at those with no referring domains. Then we want to look at pages that have no keywords. And then we want to look at pages that have no traffic. Okay, so these pages here are prime candidates for analyzing to see if they even deserve to still be around. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at a few of these pages. Now keep in mind, if you're going to do this the proper way, you would also be using Google Analytics and Google Search Console to get all of the data that you can possibly gather. But just for the sake of this example, we're just using some third-party data. But to do this the right way, you need access to all of those APIs. But with that said, let's go ahead and look at a few of these pages and see if any of them are worth keeping. So for example, we'll see this HVAC news page here. And a page like this is not really driving any traffic, is not really doing anything good for this website at all. So looking at this just looks like a bunch of kind of a random page that isn't really serving any purpose in general. So this is one where I would definitely consider either consolidating with the blog or even possibly just deleting altogether. But if you want to just delete the page, you could of course just redirect. But keep in mind, redirects at scale can actually slow the website down. So you want to be careful with having too many redirects, especially if they're not entirely necessary. Okay, here's another one here. Looks like some sort of piece of content that was published in 2024. So this is one where it's a good example where it's relatively fresh. So I wouldn't be too harsh on a page that's brand new, but also looking at it, it looks a little thin, doesn't look like it's super high quality or super helpful, but once again, it is relatively new, so I probably would leave it alone. Okay, so this is kind of the process that you go through. You kind of go URL by URL and ultimately come to the decision on what you want to do with these pages. And there really are only a few options when it comes to eradicating pages with poor SEO performance. Number one, you can just delete them and let them 404, and Google will remove them from the index, and that will lean out your website and make it more efficient. Number two is you can redirect it. You can redirect it to another relevant page. You can consolidate those signals. Number three is you can upgrade that page and optimize that page if you feel that it is targeting a high quality topic and maybe it just didn't get the love it deserves. Okay, so there are options, but for the most part, when you're doing this type of pruning operation, you really just want to see what can be deleted altogether. That way you can clean up your website and kind of, start with a clean slate. Now, number two is translate your website in seconds. So most businesses are sleeping on the huge opportunity that multilingual and international SEO offers. Translating your website opens the door to untapped markets that your competitors aren't even thinking about. But here's the thing, success in this space follows the same rules as classic SEO. You need to identify the right keywords, understand search intent, and tailor your content to match that intent. So you can use a tool like Weglot to automate this process. And the cool part is that their software handles all the critical SEO essentials like href lang tags and language specific URLs. Here's an example. So first, download the WordPress plugin and then go to weglot.com and start a free trial. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a project. So for this example, I just use stlouisseoconsultant.com, and you'll see here that I translated the site from English to Bosnian and Spanish. So these are the secondary and tertiary languages that are spoken in St. Louis. So what it looks like when it's all done is it's going to add this little box down here, and you're going to be able to switch between the languages that it's been translated to. So you'll see here, I can switch to Bosnian, and it will automatically translate this over to the appropriate language. And then once again, if we want to do it in Spanish, it will translate it into Spanish. So this takes honestly just a few minutes to implement this, and this will basically guarantee that you're covering all ground when it comes to local multilingual SEO. Number 3 is perform basic on-page SEO. All right, so to do some quick on-page SEO, you're going to need the detailed Chrome extension, and this is going to allow us to do some quick analysis of any given page. So just looking at this page right away, I already see a few challenges when it comes to on-page SEO. So the number one thing is we know that this page is definitely going after furnace repair, Houston, Texas. So believe it or not, the title is actually, it can work. This title can definitely work, but we are missing a meta description. So a meta description is not necessarily a ranking factor, but it could affect organic CTR. So it is definitely worth having one and writing one in and putting the primary keyword in that meta description. So that would be furnace repair in Houston, Texas. We'd want that in the description. Now, ideally, we would also have the full keyword phrase in the URL. In this case, we do not have it. So I would definitely want to try to figure out how can we restructure this URL to include the core city that we're going after, which is Houston, okay? Next thing is when we look at the H1, okay, so this is the H1 tag. It's the visible heading that the user sees. I'm not a big fan of including multiple cities in the H1, because if this page is specifically about Houston, we want to keep it hyper focused on Houston and no other cities. So I would actually work on this to make it more hyper focused to include the primary keyword phrase or the service offering and that focused page that we're going after. Now, when we look at this, it actually doesn't have the keyword in it. So go up here to the detailed Chrome extension, click on headings. You're going to see in the H1 tag, we want to have that primary keyword in the H1. Now, you could argue Houston and furnace repair, it is showing up in the H1, but I would much rather have these entities closer together so that that phrase is combined. So I would ideally like to see furnace repair in Houston, and then you can add all of the other copywriting to it. But you really want to get that phrase really, really tight. That way we know for sure that it's properly optimized. And then ideally we want to have the primary keyword at least one time in the first paragraph here. So looking at this again, once again, there is that primary keyword is not showing up anywhere, or even any variations of it are showing up in that first paragraph. So just to review, on-page SEO 101, we want to have the keyword in the title, we want it in the meta description, we want it in the URL, we want it in the H1 tag, and we want it somewhere in the first couple sentences or even in the first paragraph. If you can do that, that's just on-page SEO 101. Number 4, create perfect SEO content. So by using a combination of Rankability and ChatGPT, you can create SEO content outlines that are perfectly optimized using NLP. So here's how to do it. First, you're going to do is run a content optimizer for the keyword you want to go after, which is furnace repair Houston, and then go ahead and copy these NLP keywords. And then you're going to go into ChatGPT and just say, create an SEO content outline for the keyword you want to go after, and then just paste in the NLP keywords directly from Rankability. And then within a few seconds, you're going to have this beautiful outline that is really well optimized. And as you can tell, I'm going to show you, kind of walk you through how this is, but with just very minimal work, you're going to see that it's already going to be pretty decent. But I'm going to show you a few techniques to take this to the next level. But just to give you an idea, here's what it is right out of the gate. Okay, so we'll see how it does as far as its scoring, and it actually gets a 78, which is really, really good. That's a great score for an outline. But what we want to do is actually go to the next level with this, because we don't just want to have a piece of content that's really well optimized from an NLP perspective. We also want to have a piece of content that goes after the information gain element, meaning there's original elements inside of this content. So here's how to do that. So what you want to do is you want to add uniqueness for the business that you're working with. So in this case, this Marcos AC and heating, all I did is I went to their about page and I pretended to download the page and I saved it as a PDF. And then I just uploaded this PDF to ChatGPT and said, update the outline to include unique details about Marco's AC and Heating Inc. Okay. So then it went through and it changed this entire outline. As you can see, now there's very specific insights about this business. Okay. This is the uniqueness that you need to have in this content. So that way, not only you optimize from NLP, but you also are creating original content. Okay. So we'll go ahead and copy this over. And what we'll see is that it probably decreased on the NLP front, but we'll go over ahead and look, and the NLP dropped. So the overall relevance score, the rankability score dropped significantly. So we're not done yet, because what we can do is this is by default sorted by relevance. So these are your most relevant keywords according to what the competitors have written about. But what you can do is actually sort this by unused. And if you copy this, it will only copy over the unused keywords. So then what we can do is go right back over here and tell it to revise the outline to include more of the NLP keywords. So once you've got a solid outline, you can either use ChatGPT to have it write it for you, or you can just outsource it to a human writer. But in this case, I'll just show you how to do it with ChatGPT. So just go here and get the word count from rankability and then go back and enter this prompt. So here's the completed first draft. So we'll just go ahead and copy this over and we'll see how ChatGPT did. And it looks like ChatGPT did a really good job to make sure that we really covered these topics in full. And we made sure that it was very unique and specific to this one brand, this one local business. So from here, you just need to go through, clean it up, and get it prepared to go live on the website. Number 5, perform a helpful content analysis. So now we're going to use AI to do the qualitative analysis for every single URL on your website. So the first thing you have to do is copy this prompt here and then open up Screaming Frog. And then when you're in Screaming Frog, go to Open AI and click the gear button. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to prompt configuration and then go to add. So you can keep this all the same and then just enter the prompt. And once the prompt is in there, go ahead and click the play button. So then just grab a URL that you want to test and paste it in there and then run the test. So then the output will show you all of the scoring based on the prompt that was given. And what is going to happen now is, now that we see that this is actually working, we're going to run the full website crawl and it's going to do this analysis for every single URL on the website. But just be careful, this does cost credits with OpenAI. So depending on the size of your website, you may want to be careful running this type of analysis. All right, so once the Screaming Frog crawl is complete, just go ahead and import all of the data into a Google Sheet and now go to the OpenAI column so we can do the qualitative analysis. So keep in mind, this is far from perfect, right? The AI is, it can be very, very nice compared to a human who's really analyzing the content. So keep that in mind as you look through this. But what you can do is you can start to look through pages and identify the pages that are really not doing well as far as an overall grade. And you'll see here that it has graded these. And once again, it's pretty nice, right? It's pretty nice, giving 8 out of 10 on basically everything. So you're gonna have to go through it and really identify the ones that you have a serious deficit. But what I would do is focus on one individual page that you're really trying to improve. So in this case, this would be the furnace repair page, which you've been focusing on, and just kind of looking at any of these points here and seeing if they are legitimate and if there is a way to actually improve this page overall. And one of the things here is the content original. And when we look at this, you know, it isn't really groundbreaking information here, right? It's pretty thin and isn't super interesting really from a design perspective or even from a copywriting perspective. So there's an opportunity to improve this page overall to actually make it more persuasive and ultimately drive more conversions. So there is an opportunity here, but this is just a very quick way that you can tap into AI to ultimately do this analysis for you. Otherwise, you would have to do this all manually. Number 6, identify topic coverage gaps. So there are 2 types of topic coverage gaps that we want to tackle. The first is on a site-wide basis compared to your competitors, but also we want to tackle topic gaps on the page level as well. And that's when the content optimizer inside of Rankability comes into play. So you run your keyword through and you can also import content into this optimizer here as well. But if you, let's say you forgot to do that, you just go over to more and you can do URL content extraction and then just go ahead and enter that URL. And then once it's done, just go ahead and import into the optimizer. And now Rankability will analyze this content relative to the competitors. So what we want to do is see how well does this this page does this content cover this primary topic, which is furnace repair Houston, and all of the related entities or topics to that primary topic. And based on what we can see here, there's a lot of room to make this page more relevant. Okay, so what you can do is kind of go through here and upgrade this and improve this, or what you can do is go ahead and sort this by unused, and you can see the stuff that you're really missing out on. And the ideal scenario is we try to get this up to a 64 to try to get into that optimal range. But even just doubling this to, let's say, 44 could have a significant impact on performance. Number 7, find topic authority gaps. So the best way to do a topic authority gap, or in other words, a keyword gap, is to actually search one of the primary keywords in SEMrush's keyword overview and then go and look at some of the top competitors. I would click on the domain tab, and that way you can see what competitors have the most search traffic. Now, definitely disregard like the super authoritative websites like Yelp or any type of franchise-based businesses that are national in nature, and try to focus on the ones that clearly are only targeting Houston or whatever city you're going after. So this looks like a really good candidate. They've got about 3,000 visitors per month organically. And so we can take them and we can put them into the keyword gap tool, which is over here on the left-hand side. Put your domain in here at the top, and then put 1 or up to 3 competitors right here. And then with just in a few seconds, we can see all of the keywords that our competitors are ranking for that we are not ranking for. So click on the untapped tab, and this is going to show us all of these opportunities that currently exist. Now, you can filter down a little bit further. We can actually go to position and then show only top 10 for the competitors. And this will really show us the keywords where they're doing really, really well, and we have no visibility whatsoever. Number 8, enhance your writing. So now I want to show you a super quick technique that you can use. So inside of the Rankability Content Optimizer, you can actually just highlight anything inside of this optimizer and then just click the AI button. And within a few seconds, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can edit this for spelling and grammar. You can improve the writing. You can extend or shorten the content. You can rephrase it. You can even simplify the language or even break it down into key points. If you really want to get advanced, you can actually even change the tone of voice as well. But in this particular example, I want to show you just improving the writing. So you just click this button and it will automatically improve the writing. Then once it's done, you can review this, and if you like it, you just click accept and replace, and it will replace that existing content. And the other cool part is you can actually enter custom prompts in here as well to tap into the power of AI. Number 9, create 3 internal links. So one of the fastest, easiest, and most impactful SEO techniques you can use is just driving more internal links on your website to an important page that you're trying to improve rankings. So for example, this one that we've been attacking here, which is this furnace repair page, the first thing I would do is go on the website and look for opportunities to drive internal links to this page. So all you have to do is just go into the main search bar here, and you would obviously do this in the content management system, but for this example, we would just do furnace, and we would see what is available, okay? And so within a few seconds, I was able to identify multiple pages where we could go and actually place an internal link. So if we look at this, it's talking about furnaces, and we're not internally linking to the furnace repair page. And you'll see here, we'll look at furnace, and there's definitely opportunity here to inject an internal link in this section, okay? Another section here, we'll go ahead and look, and you'll see all kinds of opportunities to inject an internal link back to that furnace repair page. And finally, one more time for good measure, you'll see once again another opportunity for furnace repair to add an internal link here. So always, whenever you publish a new piece of content or you upgrade a new piece of content, always the first thing you should do is immediately look for internal linking opportunities. Number 10, find backlink gaps. So this is very similar to the keyword gap analysis, except this time just click on backlink gap and enter the at least 1 to 3 competitor domains. So then just click on unique, and it's going to show all of the domains that the competitors have backlinks on versus the ones that we don't have. So for example, if we see anything directly related to Houston, this is definitely something we're going to want to investigate and see how did they actually get this link. So we're going to have to figure out how to replicate some of these link placements because they have authority that we simply do not have. So we're going to have to go and narrow this backlink gap if we want any chance of being able to compete against them. Number 11, outsource your digital PR. Different ways to get backlinks on the local level. You can get donation links. You can go on your local news. Those are all great strategies. But at the end of the day, a business owner does not have a lot of time to conduct outreach campaigns. And so if you have the capital and if you have the budget, the fastest way to narrow this backlink gap is actually to invest in a digital PR service. So one of the ones that I do recommend is Search Intelligence, but this is really a hands-off approach. So you're just basically going to make an investment here, and they're going to be doing all kinds of different PR techniques. One of them is reactive PR, which means they're going to be keeping up with trends specifically in your industry, and then they're going to attack those trends and try to contribute to those. They're also going to be doing expert commentaries. So they'll be acting as an expert on your behalf. They're going to share some insights, and then they're going to drive a link back to your website. And so there's a bunch of other techniques that they use, but the point is these links that they get, as you can tell here, are very, very strong, like incredibly strong, and from highly trusted entities. So you don't need a lot of these backlinks, especially when you're competing for keywords that are not super competitive. So like this keyword here, furnace repair Houston, it's not wildly competitive. You only need a few really good links to see a huge lift in ranking. So highly, highly recommend checking them out if you're thinking about outsourcing some of your link acquisition. Number 12, generate link bait ideas. All right, so all you need to do to generate link bait ideas is just use this very simple prompt. And you can always just replace this with whatever type of business you're working on. So this would be the service or type of business, and then you would do based in whatever city they're going after. And I personally really like data-centric assets, meaning data-driven content. So I always like to add this little clarifier in here. And what you'll see here is within just a couple of seconds, ChatGPT came up with some really, really good ideas. So this one here, the overall Houston HVAC cost, that's a great data-driven piece of content. Another one here about the weather trends related to Houston and HVAC systems and energy efficiency ratings and all kinds of good stuff that we could build out dedicated data-driven pieces of content for. And this serves multiple purposes. Number one, this content is really effective for link building. So creating data-driven content is one of the most effective ways to attract backlinks, but it's also one of the most effective types of assets that you can use in your outreach to actually get backlinks. And then number two, this functions really well as to actually build real topic authority. So you want to make sure that you're going after topics that include the primary city that we're going after, but also the core discipline or service that we're offering. So you want to have both of those combined. You don't want something that's just about Houston, and you don't want something that's just about HVAC. You want to try to combine both of those together for most of your content. So those are some fast SEO techniques you can implement ASAP. But if you want access to a complete SEO system built for agencies, then apply for Gotcha SEO Academy. I'll have a link below this video.